Greetings and salutations, and welcome once again to the Capeless Crusaders live at the time from Empire's Comics Vault. My name is David Barry at Dr. Barry on varying social media platforms. We are down here at Empire's because next Saturday is Free Comic Book Day. It is the Holy Grail. It is the Super Bowl, WrestleMania, Christmas for comic book fans. And we are down here. We're interviewing some of the creators that Ben is going to have down here. Now, if you've never been to Empire's on a Free Comic Book Day, it is not just get in line and get your comic books. That is like 1/3 of the day. It is get in line and get your comic books. It is meet local writers, artists, check out their wares, see some wrestling, get some fantastic food truck food. Like it's an entire event. It's something great for everyone involved. So I am joined by Kristine.
Yes.
Kristine, you have been a part of Free Comic Book Day, I feel like, for a while. I feel like I've seen you in a couple of them.
Yeah, since 2014.
Wow, 2014. And have you been also involved with the Creative Women Minicon?
Yes, since 2014.
You are
yep.
you are on board with Ben's creative journey.
I've had book signings down here. I've done lectures down here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Anything that I can do here, I'm going to do here.
So now explain to me. I know you're a writer and I know you're a painter.
Yes.
So we have some of your books here.
Correct.
Right now. So what is your main book that you are featuring? Tell me something about. I'm gonna butcher it. Is it Caravaggio?
You are very close. Okay. You have to roll it a little bit.
Okay.
It's Caravaggio.
Oh.
Right? Right? That's the I
speak
Italian. So that's all that is.
Like, get some pepper on my pasta and here we go. So tell me about. I'm not even gonna try to roll that hard.
So I'm an art historian. I don't know if you actually know that.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm an art historian and an art history professor.
Oh, nice.
So Caravaggio
you know what you're talking about.
I do. He is actually a 16th, 17th century painter.
Oh, okay.
And my research used to focus solely on his paintings and why he was using such dense black backgrounds in his paintings, because a lot of his contemporaries, even some scholars today, say that it was because he had dark hair and dark eyes and he was this melancholic personality, so it spilled over into his paintings. And I was like, if there's a bigger crock out there, right? So I really started digging deeply into that, and I actually found that it's more of a metaphorical darkness that actually stems back to St. Augustine and Christian theology. It's this whole idea of having to enter darkness to find light, and his paintings were meant for the Catholic Church, so it all kind of stems together.
Being raised Catholic, I 100% know about that, going into the darkness and the guilt.
There you go. Yeah, it's always a bit, right? I'm not saying I put it
everything was great.
But these books actually cover his life, because the more I was doing research about his paintings, the more I realized how skewed scholarship is with his biography.
Oh, okay.
And I've been all over the world the past decade. I'm just chasing him. I've been in Malta. I've been in Italy. I've been in France. Everywhere. There's actually 80% of the Maltese archives are on microfilm in Minnesota. So I go to Minnesota very frequently. Isn't that the weirdest thing?
It's always like there's a weird place that records are being saved, and you're like, why is it in? Okay.
Minnesota, right? People say I sound like I'm from there anyway.
You can get some cheese curds and learn a little bit of history.
There you go.
I'm down with it. So what inspired? Why focusing on him?
Wow, boy, that's a really, really long story. So when I first saw one of his paintings, I cried.
Okay.
And the painter in me, I wanted to paint like that.
Okay.
But then when I started reading all these biographies, I was like, there's no way, they say he was an atheist, they say he was violent, they say he's a murderer. Let me tell you right now, I have police records that actually state it was self-defense. Okay, so all of a sudden I became like Caravaggio's lawyer.
Right.
So that's
defending him hundreds of years later.
Pretty much, right? But that's what these books are. They're his biography, but there's a little bit of fiction mixed in there. So it's this really wonderful story, because I realized it was like putting pieces to a puzzle together.
Right.
And a lot of scholarship wasn't looking like Indiana Jones. You're digging in the wrong place, right?
Yep.
So that's what these cover. And the main idea around it is the fact that he actually wound himself up in one of the biggest conspiracies of all time, because he wound up doing some illegal things, fled Rome, had a death warrant put on him by the Pope. But
that's a big one.
He became a Knight of Malta by special permissions from the Pope that put the death warrant on him.
Okay.
And nobody's paying attention to this. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is like Sherlock Holmes.
That's a great story,
right? So that's and I found out all of it. So I obviously can't tell you, but I found out everything. And I also academically found out the truth behind the enigma of what happened to him on the beach in 1610. which is actually in here.
Okay.
I chose to publish it in my novel instead of my nonfiction because I think this is going to reach more people than a nonfiction art history book.
And I feel like I've even experienced this with some comic books. Like I've read certain comic books that focus on history, but there's gaps that they have to fill in.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's up to the writer. Are they going to add in, like, some of the ones I've read add like some fantasy side to it? Like
Definitely.
I've read what's the one? There's a comic called Druids, and it's about the end of, like, the last Druids at the end of their time in Ireland and Great Britain, and a lot of it was historically accurate, but like there were gaps, and they're like, okay, well, let's fill the gaps with magic.
Right.
Like, you know,
course.
if they were having this ceremony, let's show what the ceremony would have been doing in the other world. So they add that to it, and even if it's fantasy or just filling in gaps with an interesting point, that's definitely a really good way to reach more people.
And I did that here specifically with the Templars.
Ooh.
Because the Knights of Malta are birthed from the Templars.
Okay.
And I started studying Caravaggio's arcane iconography in his paintings and realized that there are so many links to, like, the Cult of Mary, things that are supposedly Templar secrets.
Right.
And I really think that his whole mystery behind this conspiracy was actually because the knights needed him for something, and I'm not going to tell you what, but that's kind of the fiction wrapped around this, but it's true. I just can't prove it because obviously there's no documents, because they're not like, hey, he was here doing this.
But we have everything written down forever.
So you can find it all. So that's what these are.
That's so fantastic. So now you write, you draw, now the book, is it self-published? Is it through a publisher? Like, how does it?
Yeah, so it's through a publisher. It's a very small publisher.
Okay.
It's A3 Publishing. But the really nice thing for anybody who's looking at publishing, if you stay with a small publishing house, you get to keep all creative rights, which
important.
is a big deal for me, especially with Caravaggio, because it's my life's research.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's available on Amazon. We're working on half-price books in Barnes & Noble right now, so hopefully it'll be actually in brick and mortars soon. So yeah.
So you're gonna have copies of the book down there. So now the name of the book is...
So book 1 is Caravaggio of Oil and Blood, and book 2 is Caravaggio of Iron and Steel.
And how many books are you going to be doing?
There's going to be five in
total.
This series.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. Well, so now you have some of your art here that you brought with you. Now, let's grab this guy. Okay. So you were telling me about it.
Yes.
It's drawn with silver.
It is. Yes, it's called silver points.
Like that's...
I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in this light.
Wait, turn it a little bit. No, it's not going to. Dang it, it's so light.
I can go that way.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, you can see it kind of. It'll be here.
Yes, it'll be. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. If you're like, I want to see this, get down here on Saturday.
Come down.
I'm not going to flip through this. You're going to have to get down here. So now the other thing you've got. Now this, I didn't know the entire backstory of this, and I was blown away. But now this.
I am actually, and this is on record, I am more excited about this than I am about those books, which nobody is going to believe that.
But say, with how you just went going down this one, like I'm impressed. So now you're working on a card game, a fantasy card game. And so it's Alchemimental. Oh, you good?
Yeah. I got so excited the last interview, I flipped my watch off. So anything, it's like a full contact sport when you interview me.
So it's called Alchemimental.
Yes.
Which is, a fantastic combination of two fantastic words. So give me the premise of the game.
Okay, so the objective is to destroy your opponent's Philosopher's Stone.
Dig it.
Because in a world where 8 realms collide, there can be only one keeper of the Philosopher's Stone.
Down with it.
Boom.
I'm so excited. So you have some of the cards here.
Do.
I think these will show up a little better.
I think so.
Even though they're small, so you won't be able to see.
They are.
But they do definitely
come down. You're gonna be able to flip through them.
It's crazy. Yes. It's like we're telling you to be here because it's important. So now so you were telling me off camera that it's a combination of magic.
Yes.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
And then you said Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
All the things you like.
Yes.
None of the things you don't.
None of the things I don't. Awesome. That's right. It needed to happen. It needed to happen.
So now is this... How far are you in the production? I see you got a lot of cards already made.
I do, yeah. So I have 400 drawings left to do.
Okay.
And I'm on a 6-month deadline.
Oh, wow.
So I will have them after Free Comic Book Day. It's all about this game.
So now, are you self-producing? Is it through someone? Is it like a Kickstarter?
I'm going to launch a Kickstarter.
Cool.
So my whole game plan is to have some cards here and business cards and get the word out. And then I printed my business cards for this game on cards like this.
Nice.
So I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con, of course, this year.
That's how you do it.
And I'm just going to walk behind people and just drop them in their bags, right? And they're going to get home and be like, oh, what's this? And yeah, so after San Diego Comic-Con is when I'm going to launch a Kickstarter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I hope the best for it. I'm really excited for it.
super
I'm all
excited.
about card games. I'm actually about. I played Magic a lot when I was younger, and then I kind of dropped off.
I did too.
And then
Yeah.
now they like. I think I might go back because a friend of mine. He's like, "Oh, you like right now's a really good time to hop back in."
It is.
And I'm always down with card games, and this is just like looks right up my alley. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited for it. And but you said there's no. It's not about wizards.
So there's no cliche, there's no wizards, there's no druids, there's no elves, there's no anything like that. It's all about alchemy. It's all about the elements, like somewhere. So like these are scroll cards, they give you special abilities, but like Memento Mori is actually an art historical term.
Yeah.
Right? And then I have my elemental cards. All of my characters I have named myself, and it's a really weird combination of like looking at the Latin names of flowers and like all of this stuff. So it's like
It's interesting where you pull inspiration
it is. It's
from.
like the smorgasbord of all of this stuff.
Well,
so.
and I feel like the not really like the tropes of card games, but the typical direction that card games go, it's a lot of them are the same. Like a
Yes.
lot of them, like Magic and Hearthstone and oh, there's one I'm thinking of, and I'm blanking on it right now. Like they all kind of like draw off of each other in a lot of ways, and it doesn't mean they're not entertaining.
Right.
But it's nice to have something fresh and to have all this
Yeah.
crazy inspiration in on it. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm stoked. If you want to see the cards, you
Yes,
got to come down to
come
Free Comic Book
down.
Day. So Free Comic Book Day every year is the first Saturday in May, and Ben,
And you get free comics.
you get free like
That's a no-brainer.
yeah, you don't have to pay to get the comic books. Like they're here. You get to pick through. You get to grab some. Ben always has great sales. So if you're looking for local creators, if you're looking for a comic you've been thinking about picking up, new comics, old comics, you got the stuff on the wall. He's got toys. He has hot sauce. That's a new thing.
That is so great.
I love that there's hot sauce
It's the greatest
at
thing.
Empire's Comics Vault. And you get to meet local creators like Kristine. So now, Kristine, where can we find everything we need when it comes to your books, your games, your paintings? Where is all located?
Yeah, so I am on Facebook at Kristine Balog Author. Twitter and Instagram is at Kristine Art, and it's Kristine with a K, so it's Kristine.
Important.
I'm working on the Alchemical website right now. It's
Nice.
not up yet, but I'm actually doing updates for this on Instagram and Facebook.
Cool.
And if you want to know anything about Caravaggio and me, just put my name next to Caravaggio. I've dominated the internet for years. It's like ridiculous. You put Caravaggio and you're like, wait a minute, I know that girl. She's not Caravaggio.
That's not an Italian
Yeah.
painter, but I mean, she speaks Italian and she is a painter, so
It's this crazy girl that runs around Sacramento.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so come down, see Kristine,
Please,
see her
please
stuff,
do.
and we will see you Saturday. Thank you, Kristine.
Bye.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on.
you so much.